so tough. But there we go. That was our Crypt Cup. We hope that you all had a wonderful time and got your ranked in Fish on a Heater. Thank you for hosting that 6-rounder at Palatown. I ended up going 3-3 because of a great catch by my opponent. It was so good at the last battle, but a great time. Thank you for hosting those. I appreciate that. If you are looking for tournaments, Palatown PVT does host the 3-day rounders. It start in the middle of the tournament, so you get a little bit of practice time on Flash in your own locals and then can join them. So go check that out. There will be links once this gets up for you below for Palatown PvP. But we're in the Chaos Cup now. And folks, it's slot meta they put a points on it. And here we go. Our first look. This is what it is. You have, you've got 2 sections. You have Lord of Skies / Abysses, or Ancient Extinct Species. Now you can pick only 3 Pokemon out of each. So your team of 6 have to include 3 Lord of Skies and 3 Ancient Extinct Species. And those 6 have to add up to 16 points at most. You can't have a Pokemon adds up to 17 points. That will not be allowed. So an all team of 3 at 18 points, at 3 points a Pokemon is not allowed. So that is how that's playing out. There are specific Pokemon out here, so we don't really need to go into much about what's allowed, what's not allowed. Shadows are allowed. Megas not allowed, as you can tell. Whatever, there aren't on there. So let's get into it, because I know everybody has a good thought on it. We're gonna start with what's up.
Quick question though. Maybe I'm overlooking something, and maybe I'm a little unfamiliar with the rules.
Okay.
Why can't we have 5 Pokemon? Is that against Devon rules?
Devon rules. You must enter a tournament with 6 Pokemon.
They're trying to galaxy brain this thing, and it's like,
all right, we're gonna no.
Well, the only reason I say that is because I remember when Elche had 5 Pokemon at Worlds. That was allowed.
Well, I mean, that was the only reason that was allowed, because he was his 6 Pokemon was disqualified.
Yeah,
that was why that was allowed.
Yeah.
It
wasn't a choice.
It was not a choice.
Yeah.
And could not bring one of them.
Yes, let's all be real there.
Very, very different.
Okay, yeah, the play Pokemon sheet is is not like that. That's crazy.
You guys are trying to galaxy brain this.
Yeah,
it's already like hard enough.
It's a definite hard enough. What's going on, Kaz? Tell us what's going on. What are you thinking?
Well, here's the thing. Like, I'm familiar with like the point-based system. I'm familiar with the slot-based system, but like trying to combine them both into this weird like mashed up puzzle where it's basically like you have 2 different pictures and you're trying to like build a whole different picture like out of all those pieces. I was trying to team build earlier today, and I did manage to build something which I'm pretty sure is legal, but we'll find out later. It was actually like just quite difficult to envision, how all these things are supposed to work together. So I will say, while I do love cups that feature sort of lesser known, lesser used Pokemon, because that's the point of limited metas, is to really try and like stretch your battling muscles and use something you're not very familiar with, or something that you don't get to use very often. I think that this format makes that hard. And like harder than it should be.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the effort to like, encourage us to use different things, but maybe there's a better way next time, you guys.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Me personally, I'm a season 1 battler from GBL, and I'm finding it very difficult to build a team in this meta. I just don't have a lot of that stuff, or a lot of the stuff is very inaccessible, or a lot of the stuff is just really bad, and so really not the best use of resources. So it's like, am I going to spend 100,000 to double move a Kyogre? No, I'm not.
I definitely would.
Oh, sorry, and then the Groudon, you have to double move the Groudon 100k in an Elite TM, a Great League Groudon. Yeah. I can't justify doing that. I really can't. But also, it actually might have frustration too.
And also, like, even legendaries like Mesprit and Azelf. Like, when are you ever going to use those again? Like something like Armaldo or like Sceptile or Kabutops. Like, those are not things you're really going to use very regularly, but I could see having use in like other cups and stuff. I don't know. Those like Lake Spirit legendaries. It's like, why would I ever build that?
Well, the issue with the Lake Spirits too is they were most of those were a one-time thing where we could get them. It was during Go Fest, and you had to catch them in the wild.
Nope,
that is a 1 day during Pokemon Go, unless you can find them in the wild in your region. And if you don't live in that region, you can't get that. So it was 1 day, which that's incredibly difficult, as well as looking at some of the other battles that Mons you have to trade with. Like Heat Train, you have to find someone with a one friendship. And typically, those are really, even one friendship people are really hard to find. The best place to find them is regionals, and odds are you're friends with your locals that you play with. Yeah. So you have friendships. So, like, it's very difficult.
At least all of those, like the Super Spice picks, I think, are kind of the 1 point. So you can kind of slot in whatever you might have, which makes it, I think, a little bit more accessible. But then the point system comes in, so that you have to make sure you're not going over by using things that you already have. Yeah.
I mean, one thing you could do is play 3 Mons that you don't even own, roster them, and then play 3 Mons, but that's not going to be a fun way to play the meta, unfortunately. But it is, which then comes back to, why we're playing this. It's for fun. So I don't like that strategy, but it is one approach.
We have talked a little bit, me and Brown. So Fish, what is your impression of this this puzzle that we have?
It's one of those ones, you get these metas every now and then where it's looking pretty darn hard to plug every hole. So it's gonna rely on your knowledge of how to overcome unfavorable matchups. And I think the people who can master that, you're in. The people who can master that, I think, will have the best shot at excelling in this meta.
Yeah, the flexible picks, but that's why we see like a Pokemon like Malamar at the top, is because it's just so flexible. It can really bend to any spot you need it to on a team, and there are other things in some of the other like slots that fill that role. Like I briefly was talking about Golisopod earlier. I think flexible Pokemon like that are going to be really high priority on people's teams to kind of have that flexibility that you're talking about, Fish.
And I guess also, if you have to navigate some of these holes and stuff like that, I guess, how do you keep this from becoming an RPS meta, as well as also, just if you face a team that just beats you to death, I mean, and you lose, I mean, like, what's the point in playing that, I guess?
Yeah, but I don't think it'll be RPS. Like,
I don't think so either. Yeah, I see a lot of like flexible picks throughout here, but it's just a matter of like building your team so that you have access to sort of multiple flexible picks. Obviously, things like with the double weaknesses, things like Jumpluff might be a little bit more difficult. I mean, Jumpluff has the benefit of being pretty tanky, but it is double weak to ice, and I see quite a few ice users on this list as well. So those would be things I would like watch out for. Like if you're going to have something on your team that has that double weakness, then make sure that you have, other team members who are going to really help to cover that.
Why did they make this the second meta? Like, why is this the second? Like, this is the second season of Devon. Like, they're trying to get people to enjoy it. They're trying to get in it. And this is the second meta. You're all absolutely right. The accessibility of some of these Pokemon that have only come out once. Not to mention, like, some of them that are out there, like Mew, who maybe some of these battlers that are just getting into battling have overbuilt the only 2 Mews they've ever had, the shiny and the regular. Like, what is going on? And I'm sorry, like, Cresselia, Dusclops, and Tentacruel at 4, like, you can literally only pick one. You can only pick 1 4, and then you're pretty much SOL there. And hope, like, you got to do a 4 on Abyss and Skies, and then fill it with 1s, because who's got these lake legendaries? Who wants to run with Nidoking? What are you, insane?
But also, you're also forgetting the fact that you have the Reggies on the other side, which are high point picks, which mean like, if you look at this, like the Reggies, like a new battler, those were in field research one time.
One time.
Oh,
Unless
sorry, twice.
Shadow.
Twice. There were twice.
Shadow.
There were when Regigigas first came out. I
That's right,
am a
that's
day one player. I did not do that because I had quit the game at that point. But outside of that, I've had one opportunity to get a Great League Regirock and a Great League Regice. I had attempted to trade with locals for years before we got the second ones, and it was impossible for me to get in 2 different cities. So
Now I know.
sorry,
why you're
sorry,
really
3.
doesn't matter.
I take that back. 3 cities. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that kind of covers like both sides of why this isn't necessarily like what I imagined that grassroots battling should be doing, because like it's hard. It's not only hard for seasoned battlers to have some of these things, but it's also hard for anyone who might even be remotely interested in grassroots battling to look at this and understand like what
what am I
let alone have some of this stuff, you know, if they're just getting started. So so I don't know who this cup is really designed for, except for like, I don't know, the galaxy brains out there, I guess.
The big galaxy brains, I think.
The 5 heads.
Well, also, if you look at the other side, you have the Leap, which is a level 50 Pokemon that you need a hundo of. Relicanth, which is a regional Pokemon. There's just
Nidorina is a XL
the
Pokemon.
level 50 XL. The whole ancient extinct species. I have. There's a clear, distinct gap between the two. It's almost like they're there for to fill out your roster. It's almost like they're low ranked on PV Poke. It's a very imbalanced meta between the two.
I was doing some team building on PV Poke, and like the minute I added Sceptile to my team, I was like, oh, I have one. It could be fun. It was like, are you sure you want to do that?
Yeah.
I was like, I guess not. Jeez.
So I know we're taking, but this is going to be a hard meta, folks. November is going to be hard. So brace with us. So let's look at this real quick. We're going to talk about the 5-pointers because we've talked about everything else, and we can continue to talk about it as well as we're getting into this. But these 5-point Pokemon right here are quite possibly the most interesting ones. And let's just take a second and realize why they're 5-pointer. They have amazing coverage, great stack product, and quick, hard-hitting moves. Foul Play and Weather Ball, Ice. Those are the 2 moves they're talking about. Or is it Superpower, right? Superpower? Because it gets those...
Well, I mean, I think Superpower is probably preferred in this meta. You have so many rocks, you know, that you're potentially targeting, and ices. Foul Play has pretty neutral coverage. There are ghosts in the meta. Honestly, Malamar looks way better to me than like Aurorus. Like Aurorus is good, but honestly, I think Malamar's coverage, let alone, I mean, I don't think you should run it, but I mean, you have access to Hyper Beam too if you wanted like some crazy nuke to have. And like the Psywave being recently updated, like with the extra damage, insane, absolutely insane, and I mean, definitely justified at 5 points.
Correct me if I'm wrong. There's no fairy out there, right? So
I didn't see one at first glance.
The only thing that I see that is fairy or even comes close to it is Jumpluff, and that's with
but it's
Dazzling Gleam.
It's not fairy.
Exactly,
that you have to worry about.
It's bug.
Exactly.
It's
I don't
because it does have the double weakness to bug, and you look at a lot of these Pokemon, and I know for a fact that some of these bugs and some of these, like even the grass types and water types, like have access to the Fury Cutter fast attack. So like Malamar is not going to have like the easiest time, but can certainly put the pressure right back.
Well, the issue of Malamar, though, it is the 2nd worst defensive typing in all of Pokemon, and Aurorus is actually the 3rd worst defensive typing in all of Pokemon. The worst one is actually the Snom line. But Malamar does not resist anything, which makes it a very difficult safe swap in metas. So you really have to lead that because you can't catch anything. The only thing you can catch is a psychic move because Malamar does not resist stuff. So this is a very offensive-oriented meta from that perspective.
Good catch.
Good catch. That's some good information right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really ever like when they give us these slots or point ones. I don't ever like playing with the high point one. It's just against what I like. I don't want to be put in some crippling thing because I had to have the meta Pokemon that I know everybody else is going to have. As a matter of fact, I will swap out that spot for a hard counter to that Pokemon. So I'll find something that goes against both of those Pokemon. Like, I like this Hisuian Samurott. I've got Icy Wind, I've got Mega Horn, and I've got Fury Cutter right there. I believe it has a water move too, maybe if I want to throw that on against the Auroras. But that is where I would put in, and then I don't have to worry about that 5 slot, and then I can start picking up things like Cresselia or Dusclops or Regirock, because I have a Regirock, because I played that Regigigas raid day, and I made sure never to quit the game because I am just so cool.
Was Hisuian Samurai just a one-day raid day we've only had so far, or has it been come back multiple times?
It's come back a couple of times, but you had to trade it.
Okay.
Yeah,
right?
It's in raids, but you also did have to trade to get it under 1,500.
Got it.
Mine is on my I will tell you, mine is on the team that I made.
Beautiful.
And like mine is terrible, but it's shiny and I love it.
Oh, you got the shiny one?
Yeah.
Oh, so great.
This is just my like opinions of my own.
Opinion of your own, absolutely. Nothing means nothing.
I'm not speaking
I
for
won't
Devon
tell
at the moment,
anybody.
but there's obviously a little bit of a struggle getting people to adopt grassroots at the moment, because like people are just focusing on Go Battle League or play Pokemon, right? Maybe rather than maybe the inaccessibility is kind of the point. Maybe they are looking for ways to make this like elite level. Maybe they're looking to position themselves as like if you want an extra challenge rather than just open Great League. If you want something that'll really test your skills, then try our metas.
And there's certainly something valuable in that as well. Like I don't think every monthly meta should be like super easy to understand. But sometimes I think that, you know, the way that they make these, you kind of need to build up to it. And it's only the second month of this season.
Right.
The ice rock typing, I think, is good in general, but it looks particularly nice for this meta, I will say.
Well, it's because Auroras has a lot of weaknesses. So I think they put a Pokemon with weaknesses that are beatable at the top of the meta. That's my interpretation. I could be completely wrong though. I've been wrong a lot.
They do both have double weaknesses, but I think that Malamar is more exposed. Like I don't see any like fighters or like fighting type moves, and that's like the double weakness that Auroras has. I guess water.
Mew has Focus Blast.
But that's a charged attack.
Does Regis? Fighting. Nidoking has double kick.
Oh, okay.
Cross Chop Barbarical.
Cross Chop Barbarical.
True.
Let's go.
That's
what Fury Cutter as well. That could be the way to go.
I think that could be the way to go. That's a great call.
Yeah.
Adjusting team now.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Later.
No, you're absolutely right. I don't see any more.
I'm stuck with the choices I've made.
It's wonderful, guys. These 5-point Pokemon could be the big meta Pokemon that you want on your team. As we're talking about them, I just wanted to know from Fish, there's always a reason why they make the top numbers. Malamar is so usable by everybody right now. Like if you want, it's so good in play Pokemon scene. Everybody's playing with it. I got it. I just wanted to know because Auroras is so, only comes out on Christmas time. Auroras comes with Mariah Carey riding on her back, just bringing us Yuletide joy. So